Today we're diving into the pros and cons of living in Penticton, BC. Whether you're considering a move or just curious about what this charming town has to offer, stick around to learn all about it. Before I jump into the pros and cons, I want to preface by saying I actually grew up in Penticton. I spent the first 22 years of my life there before moving out to Kelowna. I'm almost 40 now, so I have spent half my life in Penticton and half my life in Kelowna, and I know a lot about the area. First up, let's discuss the cons of living in Penticton. The first con is the limited job market. Penticton's economy is heavily reliant on the service, tourism, and wine industries. While there's a high demand for healthcare individuals and educators, if you're looking for specialized or higher paying job, you might find your options limited. This can be a significant drawback for career-driven individuals looking for growth and advancement opportunities. If that's you and you're considering a move to the Okanagan in general, you may want to look into Kelowna, where there might be more opportunities depending on your field of work. And of course, these days there are a ton of work from home jobs, so if you happen to have one of those, you can virtually live anywhere, so Penticton could be a great option for you. And the next con, while there are healthcare facilities available like the Penticton Regional Hospital and other clinics, the limited healthcare services might not be as comprehensive as those in larger cities. This could be a concern for those with specific medical needs or who require frequent medical attention. And speaking of specific medical needs, if you have respiratory issues, it's important to know that wildfire seasons in Penticton can lead to periods of smoky air, which might exacerbate your condition. However, many residents with similar conditions have found ways to manage, such as using air purifiers and staying indoors during high smoke days. It's worth considering these factors as you weigh the decision, but for many, the overall quality of life in Penticton still makes it an attractive place to call home. Now let's talk about the higher cost of living. Despite being lower than cities like, say, Vancouver or Toronto and even Kelowna, the cost of living in Penticton is still relatively higher than a lot of other cities in Canada. Housing in particular can be expensive, with both home prices and rental costs on the higher side. For those on a tight budget or those looking to save, this should be a significant consideration for you. For reference, as of June 2024, the median home price in Penticton was around $700,000, condos around $450,000, and townhomes around $530,000. Another concern is the higher crime rates. Penticton's crime rates are higher than the BC average. This is something that potential residents should be aware of when considering a move. Relative to the larger cities, again like Vancouver, Penticton is still a safe place to live. Now this next con could be a pro to some. Penticton is a small town which comes with its own set of limitations, with fewer entertainment options than bigger cities, although there is the South Okanagan Event Center that has big-name musical artists and comedians that come every single year. There's fewer dining option choices and not a lot of shopping centers. The nightlife is limited as well, which might not suit everyone, especially those used to more of a vibrant urban lifestyle. Now, just to touch on the limited nightlife, when I grew up in Penticton, there was the Blue Mule, Slack Alice's, Night Moves, just to name a few, but all of those are gone now, and it's just brew houses and pubs, which personally I'm okay with, but it was fun 20 years ago hitting all the different clubs and bars. So if you are on the younger side, are considering a move to Penticton, and you want to experience the nightlife, you may want to consider a larger city. Now this next subject could be a pro, could be a con to some, and that is the population. Penticton has a relatively low population with around 38,000 residents. For reference, in 1996, the population was around 31,000, and growing up there, I always remember it being around the 30,000 people mark. One main reason why it hasn't grown all that much is the landscape surrounding the city. You have a lake on either side, north to south, and tight mountain ranges east to west. So there isn't much room for growth anyway, unlike cities like Kelowna. But I will say growing up in Penticton was great. If you have a young family or you're starting one soon, Penticton is a great place to live and raise a family. Okay, so now on to the pros of living in Penticton. First up is the mild climate. Penticton has a mild climate, especially when you compare to the rest of Canada. Unlike Vancouver and the lower mainland, Penticton experiences minimal rainfall. Winters are very mild, And growing up there, I can even remember golfing in January, and some years the golf courses didn't even close at all. Next up is the food scene. If you're a foodie, Penticton will not disappoint. The town offers a fantastic mix of very unique mom and pop restaurants and popular chain restaurants too. Some of my favorite spots in Penticton include Salty's Beach House, the Pasta Factory, the Hood of Maganzer, which is right on the lake, literally right on the lake, and you can't forget Vallarta's Grill. Next up, being a smaller city, it has a very easy commute. Traffic is a non-issue in Penticton. Being only 42 square kilometers, you can get from beach to beach in around 12 minutes, maybe a little longer in the summertime. And no matter where you live, you're always close to nature. Whether it's hiking, biking, skiing, adventure is always just minutes away. And speaking of all that, Penticton is a recreation hub. It's a paradise for outdoor enthusiasts. You can golf again almost year-round, enjoy water sports at Skaha and Okanagan Lake, or float down the river channel that connects the two lakes. And speaking of those two lakes, the beaches in Penticton are quite far the best beaches in the entire Okanagan. If you're into mountain biking or hiking, trails are abundant, and Apex Mountain Ski Resort caters to all your winter sports needs, which is about a 40-minute drive up the hill from the city center. And we can't forget that Penticton is in wine country. For wine lovers, Penticton is situated in the heart of wine country. The Naramata Bench alone boasts over 40 wineries, with another 40 within a 15 to 20 minute drive. Now, those are my pros and cons of living in Penticton. If you have any others that I didn't mention, please leave a comment down below. And if you're wondering about other areas of the Okanagan, please check out these videos here.